All right, we are ready to roll.
What is up? Welcome to J Talk.
First episode of J Talk, baby. I am Coach Josh. Maybe you're listening to this and you're not a part of the fitness forward community, wherever this podcast may reach. I'm Coach Josh, aka Joshua, aka Uncle Joshy to some of you guys. And today, John and I are going to talk about the plant-based diet, amongst other things. And yeah, I'm really happy to be here. Really happy for those of you listening and supporting this podcast. And it's going to be a great talk.
Yeah, I'm John. Johnny boy. Watching you guys work out. Watching you guys kick butt.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Glad to see you guys here in this podcast. I'm John. I own Fitness Forward. Been training for 15 years. I've got 12 years of coaching, of nutrition coaching alone on my belts, not only coaching myself, but coaching thousands of other people. I love nutrition, man, and nutrition is something I can talk about forever. Same with exercise, so I'm excited to talk about the plant-based diet. The plant-based diet, Joshua, Mr. J. Joshua, what does that even mean? Like, plant-based diet? You're only eating broccoli and vegetables, huh, buddy?
Water, grass.
Just water. You're probably sunbathing to get your nutrients from the sun.
Photosynthesis.
Photosynthesizing.
Yeah,
Is that why you're so dark, Joshua? You're out there in the sun so much?
Plant-based diet, that's zero animal products. No bacon, no steak, no eggs, no milk.
Oh, those are so
Zero.
good.
Sounds terrible, right? Sounds terrible.
Oh, sounds delicious. I think I just had that for breakfast.
But you'll hear vegan, you'll hear a plant-based. Some people get confused with the difference too. But vegan is an ethical principle, like an ethical belief. Like, people are vegan because, I don't like how the animals are tortured and slaughtered, and it's like they're emotional about it. It's a ideology. Right? Plant-based people can be plant-based and not have the same ethical beliefs. They both still mean you're not consuming any animal products, but people will live that lifestyle for different reasons. Maybe people go plant-based to because for their health. Right? They're doing it for health reasons.
Get over here.
You're vegan
inside.
because you're doing it for ethical reasons, but maybe you don't have the healthiest nutritional in your diet. I gotta mute some of you guys right now.
Gotta mute these fools.
Gotta mute them.
You are getting muted.
Muted.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I've been plant-based for the last 3.5 years, and here we are. One of the best decisions I've made in my entire life.
Yeah, you brought up that word vegan, and then vegetarian versus vegetarianism. That's like being vegetarian means you eat mainly plants, right?
Right.
Anything that's not non-animal, right? But vegetarianism is the belief behind it. And vegan is the same thing. Like, vegan is plant-based. That's what it is. And then veganism is this is who I am as a person, because
exactly.
I want to support the environment.
You want to support the environment. You want to support the animals.
Yeah.
It's for ethical reasons versus being
right.
You're just you're just not eating animal products, and it could be for any reason. Health. You could have some of the ethical beliefs, but not all of them. And some people fall. There's a huge gray area, and vegans, plant-based, we all fall in different categories.
Yeah, I've heard that. I mean, just from my own coaching, some people call themselves vegetarian, but they're eating chicken every now and then. They have red meat every now and then, which is cool. This person maybe believes about just maybe feeling better. Maybe it's not an ethical thing for them. Right. Or people like you, or maybe you have a different backstory, which we'll talk about. How did you become vegan? It's or what? I'm sorry, not even using that term. You call it plant-based, and that's mainly just going from what you said, bacon and burritos and all that meat, and I can appreciate all that stuff. So there's definitely all different levels of that, which is I think a good point we'll talk about today. Like, what level are you at
Right.
on that scale? Like, I've tried to go vegan for like a week, but I did it the beginner idiot way. Like, I just jumped all in, and then it's like a week of that. That's hell compared to what
I did something very similar to that when I've actually been plant-based, vegan, same difference. You're gonna hear me say both words. It means the same thing. Yeah, I actually attempted it, and I lasted about 3 months because just like you said, what you did is I just went cold turkey. I didn't do any research. All I knew was like, all right, there's a few foods I know for sure aren't made from animal products: pasta and like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And I was just eating a few other foods, but that was my main diet. And I remember I lost like 15 pounds in a period of 3 months. Lost strength, lost muscle. It was just like the worst experience. Like,
Joshy, I still see you eating those. I still see you eating those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, man. Those are delicious.
But the funniest part is like I told some of my close friends that, I'm vegan now, guys. Like, I'm gonna need you to support me on this. And one of my roommates came home, who's also one of my close friends, and he comes home, and the way I relapsed is I made the biggest plate of bacon you've ever seen in your life. And I had this huge plate of bacon, and I'm eating it, and my roommate walks in, and like he walks in on me like he's catching me. He's like my parent, and he catches me doing something wrong, and I give him this look. I'm like,
you were caught.
Yes, I relapsed with bacon, man. It's a funny story when I think about that. But at the time, I was like, man, I actually have some values, and I fucking just quit. I just quit a diet. But yeah, man, like I said, the first time I tried it, I failed.
So what's the point of you being plant-based? Like, tell us on your backstory, because like, why was that relapse so important to you? Like, that was obviously, you didn't want to relapse, but what got you to that point when you went to the extreme?
We're gonna go way back to when, young Josh, child me. I grew up in a pretty big family, and we always had animals, like so many different animals: cats, dogs, birds. I remember I had a ferret one time, a chinchilla, and I would see a lot of these animals pass away. They're living for 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, some of them even less than that. And it's like my sisters would get really emotional when these animals would pass away, but I really didn't care. I had a disconnect from those animals dying. I wasn't really sensitive like that or compassionate like that. Compassion's a better word. I didn't really care, right? And I was like this until I had this experience happen to me. I was just an average carnivore. Breakfast burritos. I used to love in San Diego. We got Felipe's Pizza. I used to get sausage pizza. Bacon, egg,
love sausage pizza.
I eat bacon every single day, red meat, and that's just how I live my life. That's how most people live. It's how I've been for, at this point, 22 years of my life. That's how I've eaten. So it's just what I know. And back then, I traveled for work, and I was in Canada at the time. I was in Toronto, Canada, and I remember it was funny because I lived in this lady's basement. So I'm in this lady's basement, and I had a lot of time to myself, a lot of time to think. And I remember when I was in Canada, I had this dream. At the time, I thought it was real life. So in my dream, real life, I've died, or I got like knocked out or something like that. And I had this outer body experience. Like, I'm floating out of my body. My body's on the ground, and I'm floating, and I can see my body. I'm a spirit, and I can see my body from the third floor. And I'm all trying to like reach and grab my leg and pull myself back in my body, but I'm like continuing to float up into the sky. And when I leave my body, my spirit is like purple. I have this aura to me, and I'm floating higher and higher up into the sky. This is a weird story, guys. I'm flying higher and higher up into the sky, and I can see other people, and they also have auras too. Like, I'm purple, but someone else is like green, and then another person's blue, and then someone's purple like me, but they're a different shape. And I'm seeing all these different people's auras as I'm floating higher and higher up in the sky. Now I'm like in the clouds, and the people I'm looking at now, their colors are like starting to be more similar. Like, they're a mixture. Like, instead of purple and green, I'm seeing all of them together. And now I'm like real high up. I'm seeing planes. I'm out in the solar system now. That's how high I'm up in the air. And I'm in the solar system, passing the stars and looking down at Earth. And now, like, Earth is all the colors combined. Like the people were purple, blue, and pink, and red and green. And then the higher I got up, they were all a mixture. And then when I was looking at Earth from the solar system, all of Earth was a mixture of those colors. And I'm floating through space, and I see this figure. Guys, this is ridiculous. I see this figure like super far away, and the figure's like calling my name. It's like Joshua. It was so weird. I was getting chills. And when I get to this figure, it's a lion. It's a lion, and it has dreadlocks. And I'm looking at this lion. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, is this like God or something like that? And its complexion is like, its face is shining. And this lion starts speaking to me, but it's speaking in gibberish. It's not even speaking English. I can't even understand the gibberish. It's like some ancient language. But in my dream, it was the funniest thing. There were subtitles at the bottom. So like, as the lion was talking to me, there was subtitles, and it was like, Joshua, I have been waiting for you. Like, that's what he says. It was so weird, man. And pretty much, long story short, I don't want to talk about this dream too much. He was telling me how pretty much everything is connected. And he used the example how we all were different auras, but the further and further I got, the more perspective I got of the world, we were all pretty much the same colors, right? And he showed me different examples. Like, he would zap me back into Earth, and I was like a different person. Like, I was like, I remember being in a family, and I'm a different person. I'm still Josh, but I'm experiencing, let's just say the guy's name is Greg. I'm experiencing Greg's emotions and his feelings. And I'm like, I'm living his life, his experience. And then he put me in a different family, and now I'm like a little kid, and I'm experiencing what he's feeling. And then he put me in a different family, and he was showing me, yeah, you know, we all have different walks of life, but we feel the same things. And then he started doing the same thing with animals. Like, he made me a silverback gorilla, and he's like, all right, now you're going to feel what animals feel. And then he made me a lion. And then I started going lower and lower on the totem pole of the animals. It was so weird. Like, he made me a cat. He made me a chicken. Got the dog barking in the back. He made me a dog. He made me a cat. It was so strange, man. So the weirdest part of my dream is actually, this is the deepest part of the dream. I ended up, here, hold on, I gotta mute some of you guys real quick.
There we go.
All right, cool. So I'm experiencing these different families, and then he started having me experience different animals' lives. Like I said, I was a gorilla, I was a lion, I was a bird, I was a cow, I was a chicken, I was a dog, I was a cat. And then the deepest part of the dream is he puts me in my mom's body. Like, it was so weird. He puts me in my mom's body, and I'm like a little kid, but I'm looking at myself as my mom, and I felt my mom's happiness. I felt my mom's feelings. I felt my mom's, you know, maybe some of the pain that she went through in her life. It was so strange. And then I'm back up in space now, and he's pretty much telling me, listen, Josh, we all have that feeling. It doesn't matter where we come from, we feel the same things. And he related the human experience to the animal experience, and he linked it for me. That was the weirdest part of the dream. So talking to this lion with dreadlocks who's speaking gibberish, and this is how I knew it was a dream. He was telling me how, like, I need to appreciate animals and all that kind of stuff, and, like, you know, do my best to show more compassion in my life towards other people and towards animals. And he's like, but if you don't listen to me and you continue to eat animals, they will revolt. And he like went totally evil on me. I was like, all right, this is a fucking dream. And so he zaps me. He like sends me through a black hole. I'm going through this matrix, and then I get zapped back into my body, and I wake up like back in Canada in the basement. And I'm like, holy shit, that was crazy. So I was like, all right, let me give this vegan stuff a try. Let me give this plant-based stuff a try. And that's how
you don't want that lion coming after you.
Yeah. It was just like it was the most strange dream I've ever had. I didn't really know what it meant. I didn't really know what it meant. Could have meant a lot of different things. And up to this point, I really had no level of like, I wasn't like on the internet trying to searching different things that maybe manifested into a dream. It was just a completely random dream. And yeah, that just really pushed me over to the edge of just trying it out. All right, fuck it. I had this crazy dream. Let me just see what happens. Let me try it out for a few months.
Yeah. It's pretty cool how something like that can really spark something. Like a dream like that, you'll probably never forget that. That's pretty unique.
Yeah.
They're gonna revolt against you. I like the idea of the humans and auras and the energy you give off too. I totally believe in that.
Yeah.
Like just you give off a vibe, and you got the purple vibe, man. That's high, man. That's the crown. That's the crown chakra right there, man.
Yes, sir. That's what I hear. That's what I hear.
And that's funny. What was I gonna say on top? I got another question, man. Why are you in some girl's basement, bro? What's wrong with you? You okay?
When I was in Canada, they have like Airbnb and different things like that. But
was that air basement and basement? Was that what that was?
It was like a refurbished basement, but
it
was still a basement. It pretty much just had a bed and a bathroom, and like it had I had like a hot pan, a hot plate to cook my food on. But I saw it in an ad, and it was just so much cheaper, and we're like, all right, let's just hop on that. And I ended up becoming really good friends with this lady. So still friends to this day.
Nice. So what did that dream mean to you, man? What happened after that dream?
So it pretty much, like I said earlier, it gave me a different perspective, because from before that point to that point, I really lived my life kind of like more selfishly than I live now. I wasn't really a selfish person, but I didn't think about a lot of things that like this dream showed me. Like it really showed me how to listen to people more, how to have more compassion for what people may have going on in their life, and how similar we all are, our experience, how similar we all are with the things that we go through, and the highs and the lows. We all experience the same emotions. And then it also showed me that a lot of these animals feel that same emotion, right? They have consciousness just like we have consciousness. And so becoming plant-based, becoming vegan at first was 100% ethical. Like that's the only reason why I tried it. I was like, all right, I have these ethical beliefs. I didn't think I did, but ever since that dream, I've been thinking about it. I have these values now, or I have these beliefs now. It wasn't necessarily a value of mine. I have these beliefs now, and I started relating it more to my life. I grew up with animals, I have a sister who's vegetarian. I got another sister who is a veterinarian. My mom loves animals, has always adopted animals and raised and fostered animals. So I feel like it was always deep inside of me to have that compassion, but I was just like, a kid playing sports, fucking around, playing video games. I never really cared or thought about it, and I feel like a lot of us eat the way we eat because that's just what we've done, right? I never questioned anything, really. Didn't do any research. It was just like, the way I'm living my life is the way I'm living my life, and I'm not going to change it until I had that dream. And it's like, all right, let me try to switch some things up, because now I'm more aware from that dream and some of the research I've done too. Obviously, I'm not just relying all on a dream, right? It goes deeper than that. I had to like research things and do a lot of trial and error and figure some things out on my own. But that's what really kicked it off, was that dream.
So that dream happened. You're 22 years old, you said?
Yeah.
So what, you just like, what happened next? I mean, you go to the grocery store and you're looking at the chicken and you want to kill everybody who's a carnivore, don't you? You turn into that guy, don't you?
Oh, so that's the thing. It's like, after I had that dream, my ethical beliefs started diminishing, because you're really not, we're so disconnected to what happens to these animals. Like if you do if you could, there's so many different documentaries out there. We all know what happens in those factories, but I'm so disconnected from it, and a lot of us are too. It's like, you go to the grocery store, you buy the food, you cook it, you eat it. There's no middleman. We don't really understand we don't really care to understand sometimes where that food comes from and what happened to be able to get that food. And the more time the more time that passed after I had that dream, it's like, okay, now it's back to normal life. Like, I'm not going to be, I never really felt I was going to be the kind of guy who was like going to be an activist or anything like that. I had other passions that I want to pursue more than being an activist or someone that wants to persuade other people to be plant-based or be vegan or whatever it is. I just wanted to do what I felt was right with my values. And that's just, cut out animal products out of my own diet and not try to push it on anyone else. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're not like the hardcore guy who's like, oh, I'm a vegan and I'm better than you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I just never
I
been
feel
that
like
kind of
there's that.
guy. It's just like I
Yeah.
wanted to try it out, see how it worked, and just take it a day at a time. Also do my research because, like I said, it was just a dream. It doesn't matter how powerful it was just a dream. I had to do my research and make sure, all right, am I going to be able to live this way? Is it going to be able to support some of my other goals I have, like my fitness goals? Am I still going to be able to keep the muscle I built? Am I still going to be able to perform athletically? How is it going to affect something bigger than that, like my actual health? Is this healthy for you? Those were a
Right.
lot of questions that I had to solve through research and trial and error. I wasn't just going off of a dream. That's just kind of silly in my opinion. I really had to dive in and figure out a way to make it work for me. And if it wasn't going to work for me, which it has, it's been over 3.5 years, then I would have stopped and went back to what I was doing.
So how has it worked for you?
The best, I get questions all the time from my clients, members of Fitness Forward, about nutrition and all these different diets, and it's really a lifestyle. The way you make it work for you is you got to be happy with what you are eating. And how I made it work for me, people ask me, how can I transition to a plant-based diet? I'm thinking, all right, write down all your favorite foods and just find substitutes for your favorite foods. So at first it was like, all right, I told you guys a story how I'd eat breakfast burritos, bacon, egg, and cheese and potatoes every single day. All right,
Delicious.
okay, I'm not gonna have the bacon anymore. Let me find something that's a substitute for bacon. I found like a mock meat bacon. Okay, I can't eat eggs anymore. Let me find a substitute for eggs. I did some research. I was like, okay, cool. I can mush up tofu and make it the consistency of eggs. Okay, and then all the other ingredients in my burrito are all animal product free. So for a while, I was just eating the foods that I used to love, but I just got it mock style. And that was like the easiest way for me to transition. And that's how I made it work for me in the beginning. And then it was like, all
Yeah.
right, cool. I'm developing the discipline. I did it. This is like, let's say 6 months in, I developed the discipline. I know I can stick to it. Now let me try to take it to the next level. Now let me try to eat strictly whole foods and just, cleaner foods. Mock meat's great and all the mock products, but the real power in a plant-based diet or a complete diet in general is eating a lot of whole foods, eating from a lot of different sources, having a more clean and healthy diet. And that's when I took it to the next level. And I was like, all right, let me try to incorporate more like, fruits and vegetables and like nuts and seeds and different grains and trying different recipes with those ingredients. And then I developed more discipline. And it's like I found meals and recipes that work for me. But one of the toughest things, being plant-based, being vegan, whatever you want to call it, wasn't really my thoughts or what I was doing. It really came from everyone else, and what I mean by that is I remember when I first decided to go plant-based, I had so many people in my ear telling me, hey, listen, Josh, you're gonna lose all your muscle doing that. Hey, listen, Josh, that's a bad decision. I had a lot of people giving me their opinions, a lot of hands in the pot. And I think with anything, that's where it's tough. It's like you got people in your ear telling you should do it, telling you how to live your life, telling you exactly how you should do things. And the boat only sinks if you let water in the boat. And I told the story how the first time I went vegan, I quit after 3 months, and it was because I let too many people persuade me to why what I was doing was wrong, or to why what I was doing isn't going to be beneficial for my goals. So yeah, a lot of the pressure comes from outside and not really internally. So if you find out what works for you, I found out what worked for me. I did the research. I'm eating whole foods and feeling good and feeling strong, and just and keeping my why. Your why is really important. And my why, hardly ethical. And then now, since I've been eating clean and trying new things and doing my research and finding out what works for me, I feel great. Hitting PRs in the gym, maintaining my muscle. I mean, the strongest I've ever been in my entire life is currently. So there's uh, a lot of misconceptions about the vegan diet, the plant-based diet.
I'm curious actually.
Mm.
Tell us like a couple of the misconceptions and tell us like maybe one or two, and then
Mm.
tell us what like maybe how you feel since being like what's been the 2 or 3 main benefits for you
Mm.
from being on the plant-based diet? I'm
That
curious.
main misconception is, where do you get your protein from? Like, you hear that one all the time. Like, oh, what about protein? You know, that's like the most popular
Dude,
plant-based.
all the time. Like,
Exactly.
I hear
You
that.
hear that everywhere. And I could argue and be like, well, the research shows this, and we're not going to pull up research about, like amino acid profiles of foods and how your body absorbs it. John and I could talk about that all day. It's just that, like, I think we put a little too much emphasis on how much protein you need to eat to build muscle, right? And I started realizing it's like, as long as I'm eating a plethora of different foods at the right quantities, you're going to get your protein in. And on a plant-based diet, like, guys, listen, beans are incredibly high in protein. Lentils are high in protein. Tofu is high in protein. There's some grains like quinoa and buckwheat that are really high in protein, right? And you just have to if you want to get your protein in, right, if you have a certain goal, you just got to eat more of those foods, right? It is a little bit harder, I would say, to get your calories in on a plant-based diet, because you're eating all whole foods that are, designed to be low in calories by nature. Like, whole foods you want to eat less, feel fuller, right? That's the goal of plant foods, whole foods, is for that very reason, right? Making sure that you don't overeat and become overweight.
So you're saying that you're eating whole foods, you got to eat a little bit more to get your requirements in.
Yeah, I gotta eat a little bit more, and it's tough.
But it's like, it's not like somebody who's a carnivore who's like, oh, well, you're not getting enough protein. Like, you're still getting an ample amount. Like you said, I like that idea of not like people put overemphasis on how much protein they need.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like you said, get a good amount of healthy foods, like whole foods, different sources, and you're going to be healthy.
Yeah, whole foods, different sources, and as long as you're eating how much you're supposed to be eating for different your activity level, you got to eat a certain amount. Your body type, got to eat a certain amount. All that kind of stuff is a factor. As long as you're eating enough, that's where you're going to be fine. Now, people will go on a plant-based diet and they'll eat too little. They don't eat enough, and those people start losing weight. They start getting other problems from being nutrient deficient in different categories, or nutrient deficient because they're not eating enough, or maybe they're not eating the right foods and the right combinations. So there's a lot of research you can do on your own when you start cutting out food groups.
Yeah, and that's always the case too. Like, getting anytime you're starting something new, like, you're probably gonna do it way too much in the beginning. Like you said, like these guys who just jump into being a vegan or vegetarian, they like change everything about their life, and they're trying to lose weight. That's probably why they got on the diet. So they're cutting calories. It's like a recipe for the worst disaster, and that's why people quit. So yeah, like I like that. Like, you need to eat whole, healthy foods.
Yeah. I don't mean to cut you off. But I was going to ask you a question about the 3 benefits.
Yeah, exactly.
These benefits aren't just from the plant-based diet. Like, guys, listen, you're hearing it from someone that's been plant-based for 3.5 years. I'm all about that. That's where my values lie. Like, I'm going to be plant-based for the rest of my life. You got to find what works for you, right? If you got ethical beliefs, hey, be a vegan. Go on the plant-based diet, right? Do what works for you. If you're eating clean foods and you're eating a good amount of foods, eating healthy, eating clean, whole foods, getting it from different sources, finding out what works for you, like I said, you're going to be just as healthy as I am, right? It's based on some other values that I have, which is the reason why I'm plant-based. But the number one thing I got from it is this is the most consistent I've been with my nutrition in my entire life when it comes to eating clean, right? This is the most consistent I've been. And it's because I made such a change where I went from being a carnivore to cutting out so many different food groups, where I was forced to do some research and try a bunch of different things. And it really upped my skill on my attention to detail on what I'm putting into my body, learning more about foods and what they're doing to my body, how it's going to help me perform, right? And that's what I've gotten the most from in the plant-based diet. It's just staying consistent, because I didn't want to fuck myself up. What I'm doing is kind of seemed to a lot of people as like a hardcore diet kind of thing.
So you became more consistent. You became,
yeah.
so you became probably really healthy, I would imagine, because like you're cutting out all the processed foods, the breakfast burritos, like, and there's a lot of really great, healthy, tasty vegan options out there. Like, it's so easy to be vegan in San Diego.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah,
so benefit number 1, consistency to healthy. What's next?
Exactly. Number 2, reaping the rewards of eating healthy. My energy was high. It still is high.
Oh, such
I was
a good
getting
benefit.
stronger. I was building more muscle. My mindset was better because I'm staying hydrated. I'm putting in good foods. I'm eating a lot of fruits and vegetables. I was just feeling great. I'm living that high life, and I was incorporating some other things while I was plant-based too, or still am plant-based. I was using different fasting techniques. We can talk about fasting in this conversation or another conversation. I was just trying a bunch of different things and becoming more open-minded and just getting more perspective and experience from trying a bunch of different things, which has helped me find. Now I feel like I've really hit my stride when it comes to my nutrition. And I'm talking, this is like almost 4 years later since I started, every year trying new things, applying different principles to my nutrition. And now I feel like, all right, I found exactly what works for me. It was just that trial and error, but also, like I said, putting in the good foods in your body, you're going to feel good. It doesn't matter what diet you're going to follow, keto, paleo diet, but putting in good foods in your body, you're going to feel wonderful if you do that for a consistent amount of time.
Right. And so, man, the energy is like crucial. Like anytime you change a diet and you see a lack of energy, that's a bad sign.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you changed your diet, you felt better ethically, so maybe your emotions were even a little bit better as well. You started having more consistency, which is always helpful in your life. And then the energy levels go up. That's super good.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would say that I equate that energy to, because you're not going at it like the typical quick, oh, I'm just gonna do it for a weight loss thing. You did it. I feel like you did it in the right direction.
Yeah.
Like you did it because you wanted to feel better.
You
started eating whole foods instead of like breakfast burritos and bacon and all that junk food that I feel like gets you sick. Like that energy came from that quality, and that's such an important aspect as well.
Yeah.
Do you have any other benefits? So that was good right there.
Number 3, cutting out the noise, cutting out the bullshit, from everyone else that may have their opinion on how I'm eating. Guys, listen, you go on the internet, you search around whatever, keto, paleo, a traditional Western diet, vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian. You'll have people that say, all right, this is the best diet you could do. This is the worst diet you could do. Everyone has their reasons. Right? People are going to be in your ear about like, all right, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that. It just taught me to block out the noise, because most people don't really understand the plant-based diet. Right? They don't know what I'm doing.
Agree.
I tell 10 different people about the plant-based diet, they're gonna have 10 different answers of why you should be doing it. Right? It really taught me to block out the noise that a lot of people may be dealing with, noise from other sort. You got noise on social media. You got noise with maybe people in your social circle that are telling you to be different, doing a different way. They're not so supportive of what you want to do. And like I said, you just can't let that water in the boat. You let the water in the boat, whole ship sinks. It just taught me to really focus on why I want to do it. I'm confident in what I'm doing because I've put in the research, I've put in the time, the trial and error. And hey, I'm still achieving my fitness goals, which is something that's really important to me. So as long as I'm doing that, fuck the noise.
Right.
That's how I always felt. And that's that third benefit, is just, hey, staying focused, blocking out the noise, and do what I want to do.
So you have like an internal battle with yourself after that dream. You're like, what should I do? Should I turn vegan? That positively changed your mindset. Then you had like the energy benefits. Like that's obviously a physical, really good change.
Yeah.
And then like a self-confidence benefit, almost like cutting out the noise and being more comfortable with who you are and what you're doing. Exactly. And understanding that your whys are really important to you. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
got to
yeah.
that point when like people were talking to you saying, oh, you should do this, you should do this. You're probably seeing on social media people talking trash about vegans. You got
Mm.
probably people in your ear all the time
Still,
about that. Oh, you're a vegan? Yeah. And it's like it creates a stronger why. And
yeah, yeah.
that's like an aspect of building like new skills, like being a vegan or plant-based. That's a skill to learn. And all those challenges are there to test you. So that was, I like those three benefits right there, like that
Mm,
mental, the physical, and then
mm.
like the
And yeah,
self-confidence.
and keep in mind, guys, like I said, I've been doing it for almost 4 years now. I'm not sitting there counting and marking off days on my calendar. You know, there's someone out there who's like, well, he wasn't vegan in you know, I'm not counting the days, but there was ups and downs. Like like I said,
Right.
first time I tried it, I quit. Like it was too hard for me. I wasn't doing it the right way. Even when I was staying consistent with it, there was days where I was like, oh, my energy's super low. Why is that? I had to like figure out the reason why. Or, you know, there were some months I was feeling really good and I was like happy with what I was doing. But yeah, you're going to be experiencing that same thing. It doesn't matter what nutrition protocol you're following. There's going to be ups and downs. Every single person is different. You got to figure out what works for you. And that's going to take ups and downs, trial and error, you know, switching up your nutrition based on your fitness goals. And
Yeah,
that,
you know, I like that. Um, I like that. So let's say like let's say there's somebody in here who wants to, or somebody listening who wants to change or just test out this new lifestyle. What's like somebody who's eating meat and having like normal like drinking milk? Like what's like a one step that you could take towards becoming that? Like, are there steps you take, or do you
yeah,
just
yeah,
jump
yeah.
all
Like
in? Like,
the 12
how do you
steps, like an
test it out?
alcoholic,
Yeah, how do you test it
12
out?
step
Like,
program.
yeah, like what's that
Yep.
next step for someone? Hey, I'm just gonna try to eat some
If
more
I was to give you
plants.
like how to go plant based 101, basic.
Exactly. Like,
Okay.
give us like one or two or three steps
So
that somebody can
let's just say you're
start doing.
eating, let's just say you're eating all animal products. Well, first I would start to cut out one at a time. And the easiest thing to cut out for most people is like, you could say dairy. Right?
Okay.
People love their cheese, people love their milk, but dairy would be the easiest thing to cut out. Like you're not sacrificing too much when you cut out dairy. There's a lot of different alternatives that taste really similar to dairy. Like they've got like almond milk now and different
Right.
flavored
So
soy
good.
milks and like
Mm-hmm.
they got oat milk and all this kind of stuff. Every ice cream has a mock ice cream that's made out of coconut milk, and they're all
That
really
tastes
good.
pretty
And it
good.
tastes
Right.
pretty good. Um, Cutting out just one food group at a time, but not just cutting it out, replacing it and trying different things with whatever you replace it with, you know, and try to make it good. And when you do that for a week or two, all right, now I'm gonna maybe not cut out meat completely, but maybe I'm gonna not eat red meat. I'm only eat red meat like once a week or twice a week, whatever how much you eat red meat. All right, and then you cut that down even less. All right, I'm gonna eat it one time a week. Okay, now I'm not gonna eat red meat at all. And then you do it with the next food group. Okay, now I replace the red meat with something else. That's the thing, guys. If you're gonna take something out of you're gonna take a food group out. You got to replace it with something. You
What
got to
would you
replace
think?
it.
What's an easy thing to replace it if you're a noob?
If you're a noob, mock meat.
Mock meat. Okay, I like that. Like, there's so
Mock
much tasty mock meat out
exactly.
there.
There's
Oh,
tasty
so
mock
good.
meat, and maybe you can have
Okay.
a little bit of mock meat, and then like get a whole food in there, like some beans or some
Nice.
lentils. Like mix
Yeah.
it up a little bit so your plate is different. Like you don't want to just have. Think about the plant-based diet is you want to have a real colorful plate. That's where you get the power from, like where you get that energy from. Just eating a lot of different sources or eating from a lot of different sources. But yeah, mock meat's a great alternative. You know,
And
once
you're
you
saying just like that one meal of steak that you were eating, like that one
yeah,
meal a week, just
one plant-based
have
meal.
that one plant-based meal a week. It's as simple as
Exactly.
that, huh?
Start off with that, and
It's just
then
ridiculously easy.
it's ridiculously easy. It's just a small step, and then you could be
Right.
like, all right, I'm gonna cut out chicken, and then I'm gonna replace chicken with the mock meat, and then maybe
Yeah.
I'll have mock meat chicken, and I'll still have chicken, the real shit,
Right.
like
Right.
twice a week or 3 times a week. Then you lower it down. Then all right, now I'm not gonna eat chicken at all. Now
Okay.
what's left? You got fish. All right, I'm gonna keep fish in my diet. Then maybe I'll take fish out eventually,
Uh-huh.
but you just keep taking out the animal products that that you want to take out, and you can keep
Yeah.
them
So
in.
you're
You can cycle them back in. You don't have to be like hardcore vegan. I never will eat an animal product ever again. But you can just play around with different plant-based options. One, it's going to give you more variety in your diet. it's going to keep things more exciting because there's so many different recipes and different things you can do with whole foods that maybe you haven't been doing. Like I say, all right, I eat buckwheat, and some of you guys don't even know what buckwheat is, or quinoa. So when's the last time you ate
That's
quinoa?
too
Well,
advanced.
I've never eaten quinoa
Yeah.
before.
Right.
You know, so you just
Interesting.
take out food groups and just replace it with some other stuff.
So you're saying like just slowly take out one thing at a time, and like you're in it for the process. Like it should be a process, and it's not like a 1 week thing, right? Like taking out chicken this week, and then next week you're trying to take out a couple of beef meals, and then next week you're gonna eat maybe some more beans. So we're talking about like maybe a 6-month process of just transitioning out.
You could do like a meatless Monday. Like every Monday you're not gonna eat meat.
Right.
That's an easy way. But this goes back to what I was saying, is finding foods or keeping the foods that you enjoy in the rotation, but just finding alternatives for those foods. And you can make the foods by yourself. We were talking about how there's so many delicious restaurants in San Diego that you can get great plant-based food, and you can get the same meals that you eat, just a plant-based version, same exact thing, but you're eating plant-based, and you can try it out and see how you feel.
I like that. So for anybody getting started, just try to work with whatever you eat the least of. That's not vegan. Like Josh was saying, dairy. That's interesting because I don't eat dairy and I feel good. I remember cutting dairy out. Like I very rarely ever have milk or cheese. Like cheese every now and then, maybe once a week, right? It's not like every day. But that was an easy one for me. So that was definitely a good tip.
Yeah. And
I like the mock meat to replace some of your other meat.
And you guys, if we're talking seriously here, everybody's meals have plant-based options on them, right? You're just really taking out meat and dairy. Everyone here eats avocado. Everyone here eats rice and potatoes and sweet potatoes and different grains. And you guys have protein shakes, and you can just replace your protein instead of using milk. A lot of you guys use water in your protein shakes, but you're filling it up with fruits and other things like that. When you look at a plate, you're really only taking out a little bit. It's really not that hard of a transition in my eyes. And like I said, there's so many options available where you can put mock meat on your plate, and it tastes pretty. It's not the exact same, but it tastes pretty damn close to what you're eating before. So if it's something that you believe in, right? If you have the ethical beliefs and you want to go full-fledged vegan, it's possible. It's going to take a process. It's not going to be easy. You're going to have the discipline. There's a lot of things you're going to have to push through, but it's also going to be very rewarding for those of you that want to incorporate more plant-based foods into your diet. It's only going to benefit you. It's not going to hurt you at all.
Totally.
All those foods are so nutritionally dense and good for you. It's going to provide you high energy.
It's if I can comment on this, people are always like, "What do you think about being a vegetarian?" I'm like, I tried it for a week and I failed miserably, but that doesn't mean I don't think it's good for you. Right. Like, guys, eating vegetables and fruits is the best for you. Like, come on. Like, that is so good. Like, your body needs the nutrition. Like Josh probably gets a ton of nutrients, like vitamins and minerals from his food versus somebody who gets dead food, like either from like meat's great, but that's just mainly protein, iron, maybe some other minerals, but man, you got to spark up those minerals. Like why do you think I do this greens drink, 3 of these a day? Like there's a pound of spinach in here, like maybe a half pound of kale, there's ginger, turmeric, chia seeds, flax seeds. It's all vegetarian, plant-based, right? So it's so like what Josh is doing is like he strategically eliminated the junk out of his diet. Like, and by junk, I mean like burritos and, just peanut butter and jelly sandwiches all the time. And
I just really didn't have bacon. I didn't have that structure before. I was just eating whatever. But going plant-based really just put me on a schedule. It made me really I had to try so many new things to make it work. That's what it came down to.
And the reality is that you should be eating a lot of vegetables in your diet. If you're not, man, vegetables make you just more alkaline. They make you feel better. They bring nutrients to your body. Like it eliminates achiness and joint pain. And there's a lot anti-inflammatory properties to vegetables and greens. It's like that stuff is so important. And if you're not adding that stuff in your diet, like you're probably not feeling very good.
Mhm.
So even in general, like even if you just change one thing, like Josh is saying,
Right.
just we encourage you to change. Try to add in one thing. Like add one thing that's healthy a week. Like maybe add in one greens drink. That's what's easy for me. Maybe add in like one serving of beans that you normally don't eat. Maybe try a meatless patty this week and make a bomb burger out of it. Like put freaking like get some delicious stuff. Like make it still taste really good, and then see how you feel. It's like Josh's body was an experiment. He tested something on him, and that's what's lovely about nutrition is that a lot of stuff works if you're eating healthy whole foods. Like you're eating, if you are eating meat, you should be striving for organic and like real pasteurized animals. Like go buy some expensive meat, not like the $2.99 chicken breast at Costco. Let's get real. Costco, go to Iowa Farms in Mission Valley. You get some real food there, like real, like if you're gonna go that way, like start working towards a healthier, and definitely as far as being vegan, vegetarian, dude, you should be like, I've been doing this greens drink 3 a day for like 6 years now. I do it for a reason. Eating plants is freaking good for you. Like if I didn't eat plants and I just ate meat, I would be not in a good position. Like my health would be jacked. So like do what feels good and be a scientist like Josh was. Like Josh was a scientist. Like he was smart enough at 22 years of young age to realize like, hey, I want to try something different. And look at the benefits that he's reaped for the past 4 years. Confidence, energy, just being ahead of the game and his fitness.
Yeah.
Dude, that's what nutrition is about,
Yeah,
right, Josh?
I was also gonna add in on the other end of the spectrum. It's like you can having a plant-based diet does not mean healthy. Does not mean healthy. You can still have a trash. Like I could just eat French fries from McDonald's and just eat bread all day long, and I just put mock butter on that bread and make butter toast and just not eat one fruit or vegetable and just have a really unhealthy plant-based diet. I wish I would have mentioned that earlier in the podcast. You still need to put good foods into your body if you want to make it work. Now, there's a lot of people out there who have tried the plant-based diet and it does not work for them. Maybe they have a low energy. Maybe they're losing too much weight too fast. Maybe they're nutrient deficient in something. And it all comes down to the different foods you're putting into your body on a consistent basis. Like I said, if you're putting in just trash, if you're only eating those mock meats, you're eating French fries and your plate is not very colorful, you're not getting in different food groups, different food sources, you're going to feel like trash and you will fail, which happened to me the first time I tried it. I did exactly that and I failed. You got to do your research. You got to put in the healthy foods into your body, like I said, right? And that's how you're going to be successful in any diet that you want to try, in all of them. That's all what they have in common.
Right.
So you got to put those healthy foods in your body on a consistent basis.
And that's like a perfect thing to wrap it up on is it's not about the diet. It's about the quality of food you get. Like if you can be a vegetarian and be in terrible health, and you can be a carnivore and be in great health based on the quality of the food you're getting. Like if you're a carnivore and you're eating like some of like $30 steaks a night, that's probably pretty good for you. Like that's an expensive steak. You're probably eating healthy stuff. You can also be a carnivore and eat McDonald's every day, and a vegetarian and eat McDonald's. There's two ends of that spectrum, and it's about what makes you feel good and what's going to make you improve in performance. Like look at Josh. Josh is a perfect example of how being a vegan worked for him. Not only just mentally and physically, but on his own personal levels. But that comes from knowing what he wants in life, and his reason for doing it, his why was important to him. And remembering those things when the times get tough, and be like, hey, do I feel better? Do I feel good about the decisions I've made? Am I learning something? Am I building my confidence? Am I getting stronger? Like that's just the questions you start to ask yourself. And make sure that you just take any goal you have and break it down slowly. That's why Josh and I are here. Like if you guys have questions, we'll break it down for you. Right. Josh would be perfect to pick his brain about, hey Josh, I've been eating these foods. Like what do you suggest I do next? Hit him up, And
and I was also gonna add on, guys, listen, I was talking about blocking out the noise. Some of you have people in your life, or you're seeing stuff on the internet or whatever it may be, and they're not so supportive of your fitness goals or the way that you're eating or the way that you're living your life, even though that's how you want to live it. You got to block out that noise. Like I said, that's what it comes down to. Got to block out that noise. Stay on track.
100%. And like Josh said, he blocked out that noise and he gains a new sense of strength in his goal, from strengthening his why, strengthening his ability to do something, his confidence in himself. And, that's an important part of the game, is you see that internal change. It's not just that physical change he was looking for. It's that internal battle. It's that hero's journey. What are you changing for? Are you ready for those challenges? And they can be broken down, and it's a blast when you win and you feel good. That's what life is about, feeling good and winning.
Exactly. And plant-based diet, vegan, keto, intermittent fasting, paleo, carnivore. If you're happy with the way that you're eating and you are healthy and you are strong, you're working hard and pursuing your fitness goals, that's a win, and you're okay in my book, right?
100%.
Yeah, you just got to find out, like I said, what works for you, and do that forever.
Right. And make it fun. That's why we're here to coach you through it, man. We've been through the tough times. We've been through the boring plateaus. We know how to switch it up when those things happen. So ask us. That's what great coaches do, man. We're not just here to give you a diet to follow. No, we're coaches. We work with human behavior.
Yes, sir.
Hey, guys, thank you for coming in. We got that cooking show at 11. I got to prep for that. What a great first topic. Josh, I love the insight, man. I feel like I learn a little bit more about you every time I talk to you. I dig that. Guys, thanks for listening. We'll answer any questions. If you ask us questions now, right here, we'll do another live talk and we'll answer it. Okay, we're going to be doing this podcast every week on Saturday, at least to start off with. We might switch the days around. But right now, it's going to be Saturday, 10 a.m., baby. All right? So just stay tuned. And if you guys need anything, we're here for you.
Yeah, guys, it was wonderful talking to you guys. I get a lot of questions from you every day at Fitness Forward about the way I eat. So it's been good to update you guys on what's going on, my journey with the plant-based diet. And like I said, I will be happy to answer any questions that you guys have. I see some questions down here I didn't answer, but
we'll answer it.
The conversation. Yeah.
And we'll post this in the group as a podcast style and as a video style. So if you guys want to listen to it again, like Tanya, I see you got in here a little late. We'll have that option today. Okay. Thanks. I gotta get going, guys, because I gotta get ready for this cooking show at 11. So we're booting you all out.
And that is the first episode of J Talk.
First episode of J Talk. Thank you for coming in. We love you guys. Have a good day.
I was trying to